What's up everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter and welcome back to the series all about designing and coding a responsive landing page from start to finish. We are smack dab in the middle of the coding process of this project. In the previous episode we coded out those feature cards, and in this episode we're going to be tackling the discount area of the site. I'm really excited because we are so close to being done. Just a few more pieces of the site and it will be ready to launch. So with all that being said, let's get started. Okay, so let's dive right back into the project and get started. We are exactly where we left off. You can see on my screen right now, I have my code on the left side and I have my browser open on the right hand side. And we just got done building out that brand logo area and those feature cards with that nice pseudo element angle at the bottom of it. That's what we did in the last video, and we pushed everything to the GitHub repo. Now we're gonna be building out the next piece, which if I open up our sketch file, our next piece consists of this kind of like discount area. I've taken the liberty of exporting out the framed phone, so we have that actually in our build and our source folders. All I did was, make sure that I had it inside of my source folder, and I came in, I ran gulp images and pressed enter, and then it shot all of the images like into the build folder. So we had that, and I uploaded those to the repo already as well. Next thing we're gonna do is, I kind of like, actually, quick tip, I like to have my terminal open, and since that images command is a standalone command that I run every once in a while, you could, if you wanted to, just like stop running gulp and run the images, or you always have the option of Command T opening up a new tab, and you can do like a different session of work over here in this tab of the terminal. I don't know, just a thing. I'm gonna type gulp, I'm gonna launch our project, and it's gonna open up our local server in the browser. Now anytime we make any changes, bam, it's gonna refresh in the browser. Okay, cool. Everything's looking good. I think we should just start cracking away. Oh wait, I have an idea. Since we learned a little bit about branches and feature branches last time, why don't we make this a feature branch? We'll jump over to GitHub, and we are just going to come up to my new branch kind of section right now. There's a commit here, so I'm just gonna say homepage HTML. I don't wanna have any sort of conflicts. So I'm just gonna sync whatever that change was in the HTML up to the master branch. It was probably just like removing of a character or something. Okay, cool. So now we are completely synced with our repo. I'm just gonna come up to our new branch icon up here, add a branch, and I'm gonna name this the discount section, like that, okay? I'm basing it from my master branch, and I'm gonna create that branch, and I'm going to publish that branch right away with nothing inside of it. It's basically just mimicked the code. So I'm just pushing all of that up to GitHub. And just to confirm, we can come over here to GitHub and I can refresh, and you can see, in fact, I have two branches. If I click on them, one of them is my new feature branch called discount. So everything is going splendidly at this point. Now we are going to start coding in this feature branch, and when we're all done and we like it, we will merge it into the master branch. Okay, let's get going. I have my text editor open, and I've kind of bumped up the size of the text so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm gonna collapse some of these sections, section, and section, just so we can see a little bit more clearly what it is we are currently working on, okay? I'm gonna write a new section, and I'm gonna give this one, obviously, an ID of discount. And inside of that, we don't wanna get messed up with our wrappers again, so we'll do a div with a class of wrapper. Now we're all set. We could just, really quickly do a test to make sure everything's running, and it is. And you can see it's actually like popping up into the angled area. So it already has some behavior that we want it to have. We'll just have to work that out as we go. We are going to create a new file, okay? We're gonna save this as, let's go _ discount.sass, and we're gonna put it inside of our source sass layouts. Let's call it layouts. Cool. All right, rockin'. So we're gonna save that, and now we can start coding. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay, first things first, we're gonna need to figure out a way to keep the phone over on one side and then keep that entire lockup kind of together. And I'm thinking in my mind, what did we do in Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to do that. So we're gonna need to just kind of encapsulate the text lockup so that when we jump over to this mobile view later on, that it actually, like, we can, you know, rearrange them how we want. Yeah, I'm thinking this is gonna be a pretty easy one because we're gonna be using flexbox to make this all happen. So let's get rid of this H1 first thing, and let's just start, let's bring our sketch file back. I wanna see it as I'm coding my HTML. Okay, cool. So let's just start going. Let's just start laying some HTML on the page, actual HTML, not a test H1. First things first, I think, you know, we could probably wrap the whole thing in another div, and we could call that like discount layout. I could probably just, you know, add that class onto the div with a class of wrapper. I'm gonna do it this way. And inside of it, you know, let's drop our image. Later on, I think in the series, we're gonna come back and do a little work on responsive images. So we'll kind of fix this up a little bit and make it like really, really efficient depending on what type of device or screen resolution you have. But for now, we're gonna drop in normal image tags, just so you know. Okay, we're gonna find the phone by just going into assets, and then we're gonna go into images, and what did we call it? 2 phones, is that what we called it? I forget. Assets, images, 2 phones. Cool. Phones, plural, .png. And we'll just put in, always fill in your alt tags. So we're just gonna drop in a little bit of that, and sure enough, there's our phone, and it's overlaying really, really nice. That's awesome. I barely had to do anything. Okay, now inside of here, let's do another div, and we'll give it like a class of offer. Okay, that's just what we'll call it. It's that whole text lockup thing. And I think inside of it, it had an H3. We'll say, check this offer out. That's lame. Let's do, don't miss this offer. Don't miss this offer. Wow. Okay. Mind-blowing text. Mind-blowing copy right there. Okay. Then we're going to do a paragraph tag underneath it. And in one of the comments from the previous video, Eberno Hoffman, I believe is your name, told me that when you're using Emmet, instead of just writing lorem and pressing tab and getting this randomly generated size of lorem, you could just write a number after it, like, well, let's write 10, and it gives you the amount of words that you want. Eberno, thank you. That's great. Okay, cool. Then underneath that, we're gonna do an A with a class of button, and I'm thinking that we've given this one like a class of button. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna reuse that class, obviously. Okay, so let's just stub that. And inside, let's say something like 50% off. I think that's everything we need. Let's start writing some CSS and actually styling this thing. I'm just gonna move my tabs over so I can see my code, my CSS a little bit better. And let's bump up the size so it's even a little bit more clear. First thing we wanna do is we wanna affect that div with the class of discount layout. So we're gonna do a little bit of work there. First thing is probably, I think, let's display flex. We're gonna add in 2 CSS properties specific to flexbox that are gonna help us balance the content within this container. So first one we're gonna do is we're going to align items to the center, and then we're gonna justify content to the center. We're gonna press save, and it's not working. Nothing's changing or happening because, duh, we didn't go in and add this partial to our style sheet. So we have brands there. Now here we're gonna put discounts, save that. And we have an error in our Sass, okay? Okay, so it's saying in our error, hey, like inside your main Sass, you can't find discounts, okay? So we have to go back to our code and just see what did we name? Discount, that's why, okay? So we're gonna just do that. And now it's refreshed our browser and we got rid of all those errors over in our terminal. Really, really cool. I'm glad that that happened because it shows us like what happens if you're writing Sass and you write something wrong, you're gonna get an error in the terminal, but you can actually read what's going on and where that error is coming from and you can fix it, which is really, really great. So, okay, everything's looking good. It actually did like a huge amount of work. And when we have like this button class and you roll over it, it's actually like it has a hover state already built in, and that's from our starting files. Let's go check those out really quickly. Let's go into basics and go into buttons. So I've given this a class of button, and you can see that class of button is already defined right here. It has a style, and it has like a little border radius and a box shadow, so on and so forth. And it also has like a little, hover state of hover, active, and focus, so that when you, roll over it, you get like a little bit of like an animation. Okay, so we're actually getting that pink like color to the text because that is actually the link styles, and you can see those are in here. We're gonna come back and fiddle with all of this in a little bit, guaranteed, but everything's working, everything's rocking so far. Let's go back and look at our file there. Okay, so our phone is bumped up a little bit high. So we're gonna wanna bring the whole thing down. We're gonna fix that though. Okay, before we get going, I just need a little bit of space underneath the area I'm working on. So I'm just gonna really quickly just do a section, and I'm gonna title it download. And inside of that, I'm gonna give it an H1 that says download, okay? Just so like we can kind of see where that download section is gonna end up being and what like our stopping point is, right? We wanna overlap. So, okay, cool. Now I think I'm just gonna open up my inspector in my browser and just figure out why this thing is up so high, okay? So that pseudo element is, you can see, check that out. So the features thing is ending right there, and the pseudo element is actually being pushed down. So there's a couple ways we can handle it. I think the easiest way is probably just to come into our new discount ID, so we'll do like ID of discount because we already wrote that, not discount layout, and just give that a little bit of like margin top, maybe like 50 pixels, and see that spaced it down just a little bit. So that's a quick and easy way to do that. Let's just put our browser back, and I'm gonna give it just like a little bit more. I'm gonna give it like 65, okay? And now I feel like that's spaced out really nicely. Next thing, this shouldn't be an H3. This should probably be an H2, like that. Is it supposed to match? Yeah, it actually matches this headline up here, which is also an H2. So that's looking pretty good. I'm really stoked that this controlled the lorem ipsum, but I actually need a little bit more. So I'm just gonna come in here and take whatever was in this guy, because that looked right, paste it inside, press save, and now we have a nice chunk. But I feel like it's just a little bit too long, like the measure of the text. I wanna shorten that up. So now I'm gonna just give myself a little bit of space between these two. Now we're just gonna nest another CSS selector, and we're gonna do the offer, right? So we called that one offer. We just wanna kind of affect that one really quickly. And right off the bat, I think I wanna just confine the width of it. So I'm gonna give it a width of like 40%, maybe 50%, and I'm going to margin it, 0 and auto like you do. And it's shrinking up a little bit, so maybe 50 was a little bit big. Let's go back down to 40. So that's what I'm doing. I don't want it to be bumped up to the left or the right, to the phone or to the edge of my wrapping container. I want it to be right in the middle of it and stay nice and cute and small. That's what I want. So now you can see as I stretch out my browser, it kind of keeps that size, which is really nice. And because we're using percentage base width, it also has a little bit of responsive nature to it. We're gonna fix that too. We're gonna make that even better as we go. I think last thing we need to do is probably just to fix up our buttons. So we have this awesome button style that we've created. And it's similar to the button style that we already have in our, base button Sass partial, but it's a little bit better. So we want to improve upon this, okay? So we are going to, first off, let's go hunt down some CSS gradient stuff. So CSS gradients, there's lots of places where you can get CSS gradients instead of trying to figure out how to code them yourself, which is taxing. I always just use one of these. So I'm gonna go in and just look at my gradient. I'm gonna grab my first color, And you can see actually this lockup right here, this lockup right here that has the blue and then the green, and there's some sort of stop in the middle. This is actually represented pretty well on a lot of these gradient, creation tools. So I'm going to put my blue there, go back to sketch. I'm gonna grab my green color. I'm gonna come over here and just click on that stop. I've never used this specific one. I've never used this specific CSS gradient creation tool, but it's really nice, simple. What is it? Just cssgradient.io. Good job, whoever made this. Good for you. Okay, so we're just gonna move that like so. And now we should be able to control the angle. So ours is not a perfect 90-degree angle. It's a little bit better than that. It's going at an angle kind of like so. We don't want it to be radial, we want it to be linear, so that's really, really good. Now we can just, yep, perfect. Just copy to our clipboard. Ooh, snazzy animation, cssgradient.io. Good, we're gonna come in here. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to affect, ready, stay with me, class of offer, and we're gonna affect anything inside of it with a class of button, okay? Then we're going to paste our, our code. Didn't quite work. We got invalid CSS. Okay, so that's wonk. Wonk, wonk, wonk. What is going on here? Okay, so let's just take it one at a time because I don't like how it pasted everything in here. Okay, good, like that. So that should be good. Now, I think it was just the colons and the semicolons that were messing us up. So now we're gonna come in here like that, and we're just gonna delete that. Yeah, I think I must have deleted a character or a semicolon. So now we're just going to do that. And waboom, we got a little bit of our button style happening right there. Kinda spicy. Kind of nice. Okay, let's keep cruising. Let's give it the text color. We're gonna make that white. And I think we need to give it just a little bit more padding. Like, how about 20 pixels top and bottom, 40 pixels left and right. And let's save it and see what we get there. Okay, we're getting close. It's got much more padding around the sides of it. So let's do more like 10 here, and let's just go big or go home. 80 right there. Woo! We're just working it out. Okay, that's pretty much the button. Let's look at it and just see if it looks close to the design. Looks pretty good, and when you hover over it, you just get that nice, slight hover state. The text inside is probably just like a little bit smaller than what's in the design, but we could fix that really, really easily. We could just say font size, let's go 18 pixels. And that kind of boosts the whole thing up. So 16 pixels, let's go 17 pixels. That's a weird number, but it's kind of closer to what was here. What was here? 18 pixels. Just be true to the design and say 18 pixels. All right, that looks pretty good. Yeah, pretty solid. Okay, now, I think while we're here, why don't we just grab just a color really quickly, and we're gonna go and make a new Sass partial, and we'll call it underscore download, okay, dot Sass, like that. And let's put it inside of our source and Sass and layout. Okay, we'll save it right in there. And I'm just gonna say, section with a class of, I'm gonna say it has an ID of download. I want to just give you a background color of not 2 hashtags, but 1 hashtag, okay? Also not how you spell download, so And lastly, always forget to come in here and just update our master style sheet. Okay, now we can kind of get an idea, right, of how we get the phone to overlap one area or another. And I think that that's gonna have less to do with what we do with the phone and more to do with what we do with this new download area. So let's say we gave this like a padding of 100 pixels top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. Then we'd get like a lot of space right there to work with. And then what we can do is take the whole section and just do margin top and do like a little negative number, like negative 50 pixels. And what's happening? Yep, that's almost there, right? Almost there. How much more do we have to go? Maybe 70? It's getting up there. Okay, let's look at our sketch file. It's just barely peeking into that area, okay? Okay, well that's it. I think we've done a pretty good amount of work here on making it look exactly like the layout. If we just bring up our sketch file, you can see they're fairly identical, right? They might have little things here or there and how the text is being rendered in the browser. There's always those little differences. And but for the most part, I think that this is like pretty spectacular. So with all that being said, we're gonna come over here to GitHub and we're just gonna see that you know, we have our changes there. The main SAS, the layout, the discount, all these new pieces that we've done. So let's just go ahead and commit this to our new feature branch that we're working on. So say built out the initial discount area, okay? Then underneath in the description, I'm gonna wanna leave a note for our development team, that it still needs responsive work, right? Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna commit that to the discount section feature branch and push up our changes. You can also, if you want, use the actual native like GitHub terminology or commands even inside of this application to push all of your changes up and pull things down. You can see that up here we have sync, right? Absolutely, but we also have push, that's Command P. We also have Command Shift P, which is pull. So you can just press Command P, you can see it's pushing everything, or you can press Command S, that's syncing everything, or Command Shift P is gonna be pulling all of the most recent changes down. So that's a really, really easy way to do it, just using the quick keys. Okay, now that we have our discount section the way we like it, let's see, we can come up to GitHub and we can just refresh the page. And there was, on our branches, we can switch over to our discount section. We built out the initial discount area right there about 1 minute ago. So flip back over to our master and we can open GitHub back up and now we can do a pull request. Again, I'm doing a pull request to myself, so this isn't usually how you would do it. But it's, you know, a good practice for you guys if you wanted to do a pull request. So I'm on my discount section right here. I can just make a pull request. I want to compare the master with my discount section. And I just say I built out the initial discount area. Cool, I'm going to send that pull request. And it did it. Awesome, let's head back over to the web, over to our repo. And we have a new pull request sitting right there. Awesome. So we're just going to grab it, built out the initial discount area. It says right here that this person, that's me, wants to merge one commit into master from their discount section branch that they created. Okay, so we can just come in and see what the files are that have changed. Okay. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna come back into the conversation and I'm just gonna comment really quick and say, this looks, with 3 O's, awesome. Thanks, cool. I'm gonna comment on it. I could start a conversation if I didn't like it, but for the most part, I like it. This looks awesome. I'm gonna merge the pull request and I'm gonna confirm the merge. Bam, it has successfully merged and closed. So you can see it says it's successfully merged and our comment, our little conversation is right there. If we go back, you can see I'm now on my master branch and it tells me that we built out the initial discount area, okay? And that's it. that's the whole kit and caboodle. Well, that's it. That's the discount section all done. We're almost done with the project. Only a few pieces left to code out before the project is complete, and I'm really excited about that. Remember, we will be doing a final pass where we come back and work out all of the responsive layout issues with the site, as well as coming back and checking our accessibility and our responsive image techniques and making sure that the site is super spot on. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you guys have any questions about something that was done in this episode, make sure you leave it down in the comments or shoot me a note on Twitter at I Am Jesse Show. And if you like the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I do lots of stuff about design and development and creativity in general, and there's more videos in this series to come, so maybe stick around. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope you're designing amazing things, coding amazing things, and I hope to see you in the next one.